I'd always dreamed of building a cabin in the mountains, a quiet escape from the hustle and bustle of city life. After years of searching, I finally found the perfect spot. A sprawling 5-acre lot with breathtaking views, nestled at the very edge of a subdivision. The best part? It was specifically excluded from the Homeowners Association. The original developer had kept this lot for himself and made sure it was legally separate from all the HOA rules and fees. It was my little slice of paradise, my own private kingdom. I spent the first few months just clearing a small area and setting up a temporary campsite. I wanted to get a feel for the land before breaking ground on the cabin. It was peaceful, just me, the trees, and the occasional deer. But my tranquility was about to be shattered. One sunny Saturday afternoon, a pristine white SUV came rolling up my long gravel driveway. A woman with a severe haircut and an even more severe expression stepped out. She was holding a clipboard like it was a weapon. I had a feeling I knew exactly who she was. "Excuse me," she called out, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. "I'm Karen, the president of the Homeowners Association. I don't believe we've received your architectural plans for review." I walked over, offering a friendly smile. "Hi, Karen. Nice to meet you. I'm the new owner here." She didn't return the smile. She just tapped her clipboard impatiently. "Yes, I know your plans. They were due last week. Any new construction must be approved by the Architectural Review Committee." I tried to be polite. "Oh, there must be a misunderstanding. My lot isn't actually part of the HOA. Karen's face went through an impressive series of emotions: confusion, disbelief, and then pure unadulterated rage. "That's impossible," she shrieked. "Every lot in this community is part of the HOA. You can't just opt out." I calmly explained the situation, how my lot was deeded separately before the HOA was even formed. I even offered to show her the paperwork. This was a mistake. Showing her the proof was like throwing gasoline on a fire. Her eyes bulged. "I don't care what your little papers say. This is an exclusive community with standards. You can't just park a tent." She gestured wildly at my modest campsite on your property. "It lowers property values." "What's next? Are you going to have chickens?" "A rusty old truck," I just shrugged. "Well, I was thinking about getting a few chickens, actually. And my truck's a little rusty, but it runs great." I thought she might actually explode. She started sputtering about rules by laws and the sanctity of the community aesthetic. The next week, the letters started. The first was a formal warning about my unapproved temporary structure. The second was a fine for landscaping non-compliance. The third was a cease and desist order for, and I quote, "visual pollution." Each letter was more unhinged than the last. I sent a polite registered letter back to the HOA board with a copy of my deed and the relevant legal documents, proving my exemption, hoping that would be the end of it. Of course it wasn't. Karen took it to the next level. She started bad-mouthing me to the other neighbors. She would park her SUV at the end of my driveway just watching. It was getting creepy one day to find a new sign hammered into the ground, right where my property met the road. It was an official-looking HOA sign that read, "Future site of community compost pile," by order of the HOA board. She was trying to declare a part of my land as community property. That was the last straw. I'd had enough of her games. I hired a lawyer who specialized in property law. He took one look at my documents and Karen's letters and started laughing. He drafted a letter to the HOA. It detailed every instance of harassment. It pointed out that Karen, acting as president, was exposing the entire HOA to a massive lawsuit. The letter ended with a very clear demand: cease all contact, remove the sign from my property, and issue a formal written apology, or we would see them in court. The effect was instantaneous. Within 48 hours, the sign was gone. A week later, a very stiff, formal apology letter arrived, signed by the HOA's vice president. I never heard from Karen again. I heard through the grapevine that she was so embarrassed by the legal threat that she resigned as president and became much, much quieter. I finally had my peace. Construction on my cabin started a few months later, completely to my own specifications. And yes, I did get those chickens. Every morning when I collect fresh eggs, I think of Karen and smile. Sometimes, telling them I was planning to build a junkyard or without an HOA in sight. Thanks for listening, and if you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. I came back from a trip to town. That was a masterpiece of legal smackdown. The baseless fines, the trespassing, and the slander.